This evening's event is hosted by Picnic for Peace and is supported by GoTAFE. We welcome you all here tonight, including Mayor Kim O'Keefe, Council members Anthony Brophy, Sam Spinks, Seema Abdullah, Jeff Dobson, Shane Sarley, and I'm not sure if there's any other council members on here, but I do welcome you too.
Thanks, Liz.
We also welcome Victoria Police and all other dignitaries, and we welcome you all. My name is Liz Arcus, and I'm the co-founder and president of Picnic for Peace. Picnic for Peace was founded in 2015 and is a not-for-profit organisation that has a simple aim to bring people together with a common hope for peace. World Peace Day event gatherings have been held ever since 2015 at Shepparton's Victoria Park Lake, plus many other picnics and adventures, including to the snow, some waterfalls in neighbouring districts of the Strathbogies and to Mount Buffalo. This year we had hoped to hold a cultural family picnic games for World Peace Day. However, to be COVID safe, we moved this event to online. These events have helped foster a warm and welcoming community spirit and allowed many people of diverse cultures to engage with people outside of their normal social groups and discover new picnic spots in the region and around the state. We bring that sense of adventure, openness and connectivity here tonight to support the Afghan community. In the future, when it's safe, we look forward to hosting more picnics and meeting you all in person. We're also excited and grateful to announce that we have recent grants from the Australia Post and Greater Shepparton Foundation, and we do appreciate that and that all the wonderful help that will bring us to share everything that we do with you all. The Committee of Picnic for Peace, Vice President Hussein Hadari, committee members Damien Stevens-Todd, Brishna Shakya, Ramzan Ali, Michael Jamore, Jamil Long, and myself, the President, welcome you tonight to this online gathering for World Peace Day. We all have a common hope of peace in the world, all nations, all people near and far. Tonight we shine a light on Afghanistan. Tonight we'll include guest speakers from the Afghan community, and a little later a lighting of candles with a song of peace. I invite you to have a candle beside you and something to light it with. We'll use later on. As much as we would love everybody to have a voice this evening, we have an agenda engaging speakers, poems, songs of peace, and encourage individuals and community members to gather in COVID-friendly groups organised by yourselves after this event in the following days and to continue the conversations. We thank you very much, GoTAFE, for sponsoring our Zoom platform tonight and allowing more people to enjoy our event. And now I pass over to Damien for acknowledgement of country.
Thank you, Liz, and good evening, everybody. It's so wonderful to see the attendee numbers at 70 currently, and they're continuing to increase. Such a wonderful community coming together tonight on such a special day, World Peace Day. I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which our community meets this evening. For many, most of you perhaps, the Yorta Yorta peoples across Greater Shepparton. We pay our respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander elders, past and present, and we celebrate their continuing culture. Into the chat, we have popped the background with the candles. So if you don't have a candle sitting beside you and want to download and upload a background, please feel free. As I introduce our first guest speaker, Hussein, our Vice President of Picnic for Peace, RMIT student, moved to Shepparton from Pakistan in 2015. Good evening and welcome, Hussein.
Thank you, Damien. Thank you, everyone, for being here. And today, the purpose of this gathering is to share or to shine some light on the current crisis on this special day, 21st of September, as a Peace Day. As Damien said, my name is Hussein Hadari, and I'll be sharing some of my views on current crisis in Afghanistan. And as a human being, how can we do our part to save people who are in need? What peace means? Peace to millions of Afghans, including myself, is a freedom of speech, freedom of life, end of systematic discrimination, and most importantly, safety of our women and children. Why we gather today? Today we gather to acknowledge the World Peace Day. We are here to be the voice of millions of Afghans. We are here to show some of our support. We are here to remember them in our prayers and thoughts. We are here to support the refugees who are worried about the safety of their families. There are many ethnic groups in Afghanistan. The main groups are Pashtun, Hazara, Tajik, and Uzbek. As a Hazara, I will share some of my experiences and challenges that will reflect on how Hazara people have been affected by this current situation in Afghanistan. Hazaras have been persecuted, discriminated since 1880s due to their different religious beliefs and their ethnicity. Some people escaped the genocides and started residing in different neighboring countries to think they will be safe. Unfortunately, things slowly changed and Hazara again became the target in the different countries. Growing up in Quetta, Pakistan, I lost one of my closest friends. We used to go to mountains for hiking. We used to play soccer, and most of my relatives, which I knew them like closely, they were targeted by terrorists or they were killed in bomb blasts. And growing up and experiencing not a proper childhood was the worst thing my parents and I imagined, myself imagined. For my parents, safety of my siblings and I was the most important task for them. When my family and I arrived in Shepparton in 2015, we realized what peace actually means, not the peace we were living in. They were trying to force us that this is the peace, but actual peace was here when we realized what actual human beings were, what human lives were. And that is not waiting for your turn to become a victim of a coward attack. I knew people, students, university students going to university for education, but they were blasted in the bus and they were killed, like several of them. 30 people I know from my community. So the purpose of sharing this story and background information is to make you people aware of my culture, and most importantly, the hardship we Hazara people are facing on daily life. And lastly, I pay my respect to and condolences to the family of our Australian and Afghan Defence Forces personnel who lost their lives in Afghanistan in order to maintain peace in the region. And thank you all for attending this event to send some peace and support to the affected people all around the world, especially in Afghanistan. Now I would like to introduce you to Pat Moran, who will be sharing a poem with us. Pat moved from Melbourne to Shepparton in 1964, and she has been involved in many things in Shepparton. Off to you, Pat.
Thank you very much for that introduction. Mine is a poem to contribute tonight, and it goes like this. We gather in our homes and other places on this World Peace Day to acknowledge our world's people, with a virtual picnic in a different way. With respect to our First Nations people, custodians of the land on which we live, we offer freedom to victims of trauma and war in their lives as a safe haven we give. In the 1800s, Shepparton migration began with some Celtic people fleeing years of the Troubles to settle here. Individuals, couples and families, long suffering famine, pestilence and burnt out property in their beautiful isles. They travelled in fear on sailing vessels from England, some having sponsorship supporting them to arrive. Many died on board due to overcrowding and disease, afflicting hundreds who failed to survive. In the 1930s, a community of Jewish people resided happily here just east of Shepparton on the land, followed later by many people from Europe to forge a better life, making this place home with hard toil by hand. In this 21st century, we have welcomed peoples from their war-ravaged countries to settle here, feeling safe and free. From the Middle Eastern countries and Africa, we welcome them to culturally share in all our diversity. Our Afghan community needs our special support at this tragic time of grief for their homeland, taken overnight by Taliban invasive insurgents. After years of peaceful intervention, women and girls achieving positive life changes, once again fleeing their country as a matter of urgency. In Greater Shepparton, they are most welcome, where our cultural diversity is celebrated with unity, harmony, and social inclusion. This picnic for peace draws us together in support of all our global population, that peace can be achieved and with hopes for resolution. Thank you.
Thank you, Pat. Very heartfelt, most grateful. A note to everybody here this evening before Liz introduces our next speaker, that if the themes or conversations this evening are overwhelming or upsetting, either now or after the event upon reflection, we will pop this information into the chat, but we do encourage you to reach out to appropriate services, Lifeline Australia, Beyond Blue, 131114, or online via their websites. Over to you, Liz.
I'd really love to invite Shema to share with us now. Shema is a Greater Shepparton Secondary College Maguire campus student, and she moved to Shepparton from Afghanistan in 2015. And Shema has a poem to share with us tonight.
Okay, my sweet Afghanistan. As I walk in the streets of this forgiven city, I remember my sweet Kabul, the beautiful gardens and the fountains. Oh, my sweet Afghans, I'm the Afghan who has awakened my nation's anger, has empowered me. My ruined and burnt villages have filled me with hatred against the enemy. I've found my path and will never return. I've opened and closed doors of ignorance. I've said farewell to my beautiful country. I've seen barefoot and homeless children. I've seen those children trying to find freedom in the last breaths, in the waves of London victory. All my sweet Afghans, with all my strength, I'm with you. Walking towards emancipation, I've stepped up to my nation to break all these sufferings, all these chains of slavery. I hope one day I could transform my country from oppression, injustice to freedom and justice. That's my only dream.
Thank you so very much, Shema, for sharing your poem. Shema also is an ex-student of St George's Road Primary School, for anyone that is connected there. Fareed and Yusuf, are you ready to sing us your song?
They are ready.
वतन इश्क तो इफ्तिखारम वतन दर्द हक लालसारम वतन इश्क तो इफ्तिखारम वतन दर्द हक लालसारम वतन खौफ हेवन वतन बुलखनत लालसारम वतन खौफ मन वतन बुलखनत लालसारम वतन इश्क तो इफ्तिखारम वतन दर्द हज्जान सारम वतन इश्क तो इफ्तिखारम वतन दर्द हज्जान सारम वतन इश्क तो इफ्तिखारम वतन दर्द हज्जान सारम वतन इश्क तो इफ्तिखारम वतन सारम वतन हज्जान सारम वतन इश्क तो इफ्तिखारम. That was our song.
Well done. So that was the Afghan national anthem by Fareed and Yusuf, who are primary school students at St George's Road Primary School. So thank you very much.
I have one more thing to say.
Okay.
We have a wish from the Australian government, like if he wants to support us, can he like bring our families, because some of our families in Afghanistan are in danger, because some of them are like YouTubers, like they talk about Taliban a lot and they are very in danger, like because of Taliban, they might like target them and kill them somewhere. So we want them to come to Australia if the government is really wants to support us.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts, and we do hope that that can happen sometime in the future, Fareed and Yusuf. Nazanin moved to Shepparton from Pakistan only around 5 months ago, and she is a current student of the Shepparton English Language Centre, and we welcome you here tonight, Nazanin. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me. My name is Nazanin Nazari, and I'm going to be speaking to you today about my poor and beautiful country, Afghanistan, for the oppressed and suffering people of Afghanistan. These days, the whole nation of Afghanistan has a great sorrow and grief in their hearts, because the current situation in Afghanistan, it wounds the hearts of every human who wants freedom. Unfortunately, Afghanistan has fallen into the hands of the Taliban, who are savage and extremist. They have no sense of decency and they do not understand the meaning of being human. They only know what they can do to deprive the Afghan people of their freedom by savagery and force, especially the rights of women and children. The ferocious Taliban do not want Afghan women in the legal, civil, and political spheres, while 50% of Afghan society is made up of women who have been deprived of their rights by the Taliban. And I hope that Afghan women will defend themselves and not lose their rights. I ask all countries of the world to support the oppressed people of Afghanistan and not leave them alone. To conclude, I want to read a short poem in my language about my beautiful country, Afghanistan, to all my country's people. خواهم وطن بقای تو را از خدای تو، تا جان وطن مراست بگویم ثنای تو. در حفظ تست و وحدت ملی پیام من، این نکته دلکش است که دارم هوای تو. راز بقاز گر که بمیرم برای عشق، افغان زیست که زنده بمانم برای تو. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so very much, Nazanin, for sharing.
Thank you for the opportunity to partake in this event, and it's been fantastic listening to the brave people and the beautiful people that have been speaking so far. It's my honour to introduce Brian Howley, who lives in Broadford, but he is an old Tjutjura boy, it says here, but maybe a young Tjutjura boy. Thank you, Brian. Brian's going to read a poem to us.
Thank you very much for having me. Well done, Liz, and your team for Picnic for Peace. And it's a real pleasure. Some beautiful words and song. This is untitled, but hopefully very heartfelt. 20 years after the day which changed the world, Allied forces exit. In the blink of an eye, the Taliban reassert themselves with false promises and evil intent. Afghani women march with such courage, dispersing only with the gunfire, almost forgotten, but now part of life again. Are you okay, Afghanistan? Will you be forgotten again? Rest assured, there are many who will march with you to ensure your voices are heard. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Brian. Bigul, you may like to introduce yourself, because I'm really sorry we didn't have you on the program, but we'd really love to include you with your special message that you sent to me just then. So welcome.
Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to speak here. It is me, Zainab Hassani. I study Certificate 3 in IT at Goethe. And I would love to share some points back about 26 August, about the blast which happened at Kabul airport. It was really, I can say, the most horrible moments. I would love to share some lines. I miss my family more than anyone else. I am a 13 years Afghan refugee. My name is Shabnam. I left my family back in Kabul, Afghanistan, as we got separated after the blast happened on 26, 2001 at Kabul airport. No one can feel the pain I go through. Hey, you, the one who is listening this may sound like a story to you, but this is what each Afghan kid or kids are born with. I'm writing this with tears in my eyes. This sounds like a nightmare to myself too. My hands were shaking. I didn't know what happened to the rest behind me after the blast. I was in search of a mobile phone to make a call only to make sure everyone is fine and safe and no one is harmed. 3 days passed and I was just crying. I was and I am hurt deep inside. My heart is aching for every Afghan. Some were after their children and some other after their moms. What a horrible situation we go through, and we still call ourselves being alive. Be my voice, raise my voice. Help me find my way back to those beautiful days where I can hear my mom's voice, where I can hear my mom calling my name. Take me to the beautiful places where I can wake up with no any fear of losing, but with the hope of better tomorrow around my family. Help me reunite with my family. I can't imagine my life except them. Afghan girls and women are the major victim. I heartily request every government to help us in this difficult time as much as possible. After 2 decades, we are still in search of peace in every corner of the world. I, on behalf of all Afghan community, thank all the countries, especially Australia, who contribute with us and helped us. We still need much more. Please help Afghanistan and Afghan women. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sigal. We've learned so much already tonight, so thank you everyone for sharing what you have. Next, I'm going to introduce Fatima. She is a GoTAFE student who moved to Shepparton from Pakistan 2 years ago.
Thank you very much, Jamil, that gave me an opportunity. Good evening, everyone. My name is Fatma, and I'm a student at GoTAFE in Multicultural Department and working as a volunteer with Liz Arcus. I warmly welcome you all in today's auspicious gathering and celebrating World Peace Day together. This year, the co-founder and other members of Picnic for Peace program decided to dedicate World Peace Day to Afghanistan and especially to its people. Ladies and gentlemen, as we are well known that a month ago, a news published in all over the world that unfortunately, once again, Afghanistan has been taken by the Taliban and its Mujahideen, which was very frustrating, especially for Hazara community. The word Taliban is very prominent to everyone, even though their history is not hidden from all over the world. Back then, in 1990s, when the Taliban was ruling over Afghanistan, at that time, Amir Abdul Rahman was the leader of Taliban. During that time, more than 60% of Hazara has been killed. Many families lost their beloved ones. Children lost their father. Mother lost their son. And their wives and daughters had been sold at Bazaar of Kolkata for slavery. Women are not allowed to go to school, even though they are not allowed to come out without a man. Taliban demolished many educational institutes, child labor, children harassment, Hazara genocide, sexual slavery of women were in high number. The incident of 40 girls of Hazara shows that Taliban wanted to make them as their sexual slavery, but 40 girls of Hazara decided to suicide at one time from the top of the mountain, and that place is very famous by the name of Chil Dukhtar. It means a mountain of 40 girls. Due to the current brutality of Amir Abdul Rahman and its Mujahideen, people started to immigrate from Afghanistan to different parts of the world, such as in Pakistan, Iran, Australia, and many other countries around the world. Dear fellows, now I would like to ask a question from you all, especially from those parents who have daughters. When your daughter reaches to 12 years old, is it time for them to get married or to get education? Alas, According to Taliban and their Sharia, they should get married. Whether they are agree, whether their family members are happy, or whether the girl can differentiate between right and wrong. Ladies and gentlemen, in the present time, the history is repeating again. When a month ago, we heard from news that Taliban have been taken over Afghanistan. Taliban are keep saying in front of the people around the world that they have changed. They are not the same Taliban as used to be in 1990s. We have been changed. What sort of change they are talking about, I couldn't understand. Killing innocent people in front of their family is change that they are talking about. Girls can go to school according to their Sharia. Is it the change that they are talking about? If they are really changed, why we have been hearing that the Taliban at other provinces, they have been taking young girls for their mujahideen. If they are really changed, when they announced their government, why they didn't give an opportunity to women to speak about women's rights in parliament? About 60% population of Afghanistan is women, and unfortunately, they don't have a single person to represent their rights in government level. Shakespeare said that, "Give me an educated mother, I will give you an educated nation." It means that women are playing a vital role in the development of a country to bring prosperity among the people in the society. Today, Taliban are just deceiving me, deceiving you, and deceiving everybody around the world. They didn't change. They are the same Taliban as used to be in 1990s. In conclusion, I would like to say that let's join our hands together. Pray for the people of Afghanistan. It's time to show humanity for Afghan people. It's time for Australia to open its arms to refugees from Afghanistan and join the world to help Afghan people during their humanitarian crisis. Thank you very much.
Fatima, thank you so very much for sharing everything that you did.
It sure is very emotional moment for every one of us, I believe, since everyone is sharing all these stories, and it's sort of hard to realize what we as a human being, our human fellows, are going through these days. When we say we are living in 21st century, I would like to portray some of my messages in Hazaragi language for the people who have joined here, so they can understand why we are gathered on this platform today, and what the purpose of this online event is. Assalamu alaikum. I barnama ki mo giriftem baray namazi asta Picnic for Peace. ما امروز برای جمع شدیم در اینجی که ما در افغانستان که امی حالات است، امینا را برایش یک مد نظر، برایش یک توقع کنیم که چی حال میشه، چی حالات است، چی ظلم و ستم بله مردمای از ما رو شده رایی است در اونجی. وقتی اینا طالب مگه طالبان گفته که ما دیگه طالبان جوشته مگرم نه، بالکل غلط مگه. طالب اون طالبه که اول روز بده، تایم امروز را ما اون طالبه ظلم ستم از نه ختم نمیشه. ولی امروز که ما جمع شدیم بابت تروی لیز ای پروگرام را تشخیص داده، ما جمع شدیم اینجا یک آواز تیار شدیم، یک آواز بلند کنیم که ما برای افغانا، برای آزرگو، خصوصا برای زو مردم که امی در ظلم و ستمی چیزا طالب است، تا امروز تا ظلم و ستمی طالب است، برای از یک آواز تیار شدیم که سپورت کنیم و پیش گورنمنت بریم پتیشن درج کنیم که هر چه قسمت نه اونا کمک کنه از توی ایمیگریشن، که اونا که فامیلیاش در اونجا بنده، اون فامیلیا باید واپس دمیجی، اونا که جان و مالش خطره که در اونجا است، تمام زندگیش در اونجا منده، یا که اونجا رفتن از اینجا قبول شده اونجا گرفته پسا منده، برای از اونا یکم آواز بال کنیم دیگه. این امروز است امن، روزی امن و امان. منی یونایتد نیشن میگه سازمان ملل این روزی امن و امان گفته. تشکر از تمام که اینجا آماده نمی‌دستیم. Thank you, Liz.
And thank you, Hussein, for translating that for some of our guests here tonight where English isn't their first language. And it's also so gorgeous hearing your native language just to listen to, even if I don't quite understand what you're saying. I would like to...
Sorry, Jimmy, before you introduce the candles, so sorry, I'll come back to you. Shanaz, would you like to unmute yourself?
I'm Mary Husseini. I wish and peace is coming soon in my country. I pray for my country, the people I want children to go to school and study. I want our homes to stay safe for our prayers to stay there. Our country is led by Taliban, which is devastating. We want a peaceful, beautiful country. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Okay, so this evening we would like to light a candle. So I invite everyone to find a candle or bring it close to your screen. I'll give you a moment to light your candles, and also to bring your family members or friends who are with you in your home together tonight in front of your camera so we can see all your gorgeous faces and see who is here shining their light. I understand that some of you are not able to share your screen, and that's okay. But if not, if you can, we'd love to see your faces with your candles lit. We are lighting these candles to share support for Afghanistan and also to celebrate World Peace Day, as we have a hope for peace for everyone in the world. This evening, we invite you to take photos with your candles. You may also like to make some artwork, and we encourage you to share your photos by sending them to Picnic for Peace on Facebook, or you can share on your own social media using the hashtag Light a Candle for Afghanistan, all in lowercase and no spaces, or hashtag Light a Candle for World Peace. I will share them in the chat box. So to the Afghan community and anyone who is struggling, may you feel the warmth and light of these candles being sent to you. May you feel a sense of ease and peace as we listen to a song recorded by Priscilla Stanley with thanks to the help of Jamin Long. Now we will play a song, Hold Your Candles Up, and I welcome you to sing along. Thank you.
Light a candle for peace, light a candle for love, light a candle that shines all the way around the world. Light a candle for me, light a candle for you, that I wish for world peace will one day come true. Light a candle for me, light a candle for you, light a candle that shines all the way around the world. Light a candle for me, light a candle for you, that I wish for world peace will one day come true. Sing peace around the world. 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 Light a candle for peace, light a candle for love, light a candle that shines all the way around the world. Light a candle for me, light a candle for you, that I wish for world peace will one day come true.
Thank you so very much, Priscilla, for recording that song for us. Before we go any further, could we hold up our candles and perhaps take a photo? And Jamin, I'm going to ask you to do some screenshots for us. And just hold there. I can see that we have 102 people on here. So hold your candles still and send love and light to everybody this World Peace Day. to Afghanistan and to all countries. Thank you so very much for that, and you're welcome to keep your candles alight if you wish. A lot of people have sewn on all of these hearts. I think there's nearly 500 hearts. Many of them have been distributed to the Afghan community. But if you have not received one of these hearts, please let us know, because we'd like to get one to you, and you might like to pop that in the chat or contact us later. We're very sorry to hear what is happening in Afghanistan. We're sending you love and thinking of you. So please let us know, even if you have a heart, if you would like someone else to have one, and we'll get these to you. Tonight, as has been mentioned before, if you are in need of some extra support, and again, we'll put this information in the chat to you, especially for the Afghan community, we have Primary Care Connect and Foundation House, Primary Care Connect in Shepparton and Foundation House in Melbourne for emotional support and legal support. There's Refugee Legal and Asylum Seeker Resource Centre. Some of you are wondering what else you can do to help. There is an online petition at the moment. We'll be able to put that link there for you and add your voice. And thank you so much for Rahima for putting this together for us. Should the Australian government increase humanitarian visas for Afghan refugees? Afghan people are not safe in Afghanistan, as we've been hearing tonight. Australia needs to join the rest of the world in helping to solve this humanitarian crisis. Australia has a moral duty to help the people in Afghanistan. As you can see by these graphs here, how many neighbouring countries, how many Afghans they are taking into their countries. I'd like to thank everybody for being here tonight, and to all our guest speakers for everything that you shared. You've shared deeply from within your heart, and we do thank you and appreciate everything that you've been brave enough to share with us. We'd like to again thank Priscilla Stanley, musician, for recording our song for us, and to the Picnic for Peace Committee. We'd like to thank Shepparton English Language Centre, GoTAFE, and everybody else who has helped in any way to make tonight possible. We'd like to finish with a little song that we sang at last year's World Peace Day event.
Hi Liz, hi everybody. Thanks for joining in tonight on this important Picnic for Peace occasion. I'm happy to lead this song, and I hope everyone enjoys singing along. Rosalie's going to sing with me too, by the way. 1, 2, 3. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Thank you so very, very much. And now, Yusuf and Fareed, yes, of course, I'd love to pass back to you to sing that special song of yours, and perhaps you can tell us what it's about.
And it's like a sad song, like when the Taliban took over, they sang it. So I'll start. 1, 2, 3.
you. And that was the song list.
Yeah, and I hope you guys liked it.
Rita Yusuf, thank you. Yesterday you sang that to me yourself, and it was also just as beautiful. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Other people sang it, like when the Taliban took over, it says like there's no one in our homeland today. And it says my homeland has been taken with no people or defense. Yeah.
Thank you so very much, Fareed and Yusuf, and thank you to everybody again. And can we one more time raise our candles together and send love and light and hope for peace in the world for all people today, this World Peace Day, shining a light on Afghanistan today, but also to all countries, to all nations around the world, for peace across the lands, near and far, and in our own homes, in our own city, everywhere. Today, World Peace Day, we send love and light to all.